The people. The people. What's up? How y'all feeling? It's a Monday. It's a Monday. We get ready for this. My lady about to come in here. We about to ask some questions. Tune in, turn up. It's a Monday. I know. It's a Monday. I understand. Believe me. I feel the pain. But it's a Monday though. It's a Monday. Let me get her in here. Hold on. Let me get this out there. Woo! Boy.
It's you turn all the way up
Hey,
for me.
just a little bit, just a little
Hey,
bit.
hey, hey.
You know,
I love it. I love it.
You know, what's crazy. Let me tell you, it's crazy, right? Before we start this, let me tell you, it's crazy. People don't understand everything that I do. It correlates, right? And like when I put this song
Right.
attached to the post, it was like, what does that mean? Like, what is that song? The song is about him being in a psych ward. So it's like they don't, you know, they can't. The mind. Let me stop. It's Monday. It's
I'm gonna
Monday.
need you to put two
I
and two
gotta tone
together.
it down. Just let me put this away. I'm too hyped right now. You know,
Don't ever turn it down.
I'm trying to do a little something, but not too much of something, because it's the beginning of the week. But that's when you turn up, because you know everybody try to turn up on Friday, like.
Right.
That's
I need
what
all my
I'm
energy
talking
in the
about.
beginning.
Like nobody, you know. Let me tone that down. Let me pause this real quick, because we about to get into this. Cookie would like this. Hey, you know, we
professional now.
Go sit down, because she want to get in the show every time I want to start something. But, ma'am, I appreciate you for coming in here today, talking to me. Let's get into this. You know, let's get into it. Let's get to it. So, welcome to the Wright Mentality. Yes, ma'am. You are very welcome. So, you know, some people pronounce it differently. I don't want to mess it up. Some people's name I can't get properly, but let me allow you to introduce yourself to the people.
I will do. Peace, y'all. I am Kristin Arian. I am a behavioral health registered nurse on the way to getting that psych nurse practitioner. Okay. I'm also your wellness coach and
what
spa
kind of
owner.
spot? Because it's a, you know, it's a little nick. Woo, girl.
You get that massage, that
Look,
kick out.
let me tell you what's crazy.
Come on to Virginia Beach.
I was trimming my dog's nails yesterday, and she wilded out on me. I don't know how it happened, but she wilded out to the point where after I finished trimming her nails, and I just, So I've been walking around like this all day. You know, it's hard to, you know, try to look over, see if I can get over in the lane when, you know. But we moving it. It is what it is.
I know that.
So, like I said, welcome here. We appreciate you for coming. We appreciate you for, you know, reaching out to me and all of that stuff. Well, I reached out to you, but you responded, and I appreciate you for that. Okay. So
Not a problem.
On the Wright Mentality now, this title of Call the Ward. Call the Ward. So many things we could put towards this, but why am I here, right? Why am I here? But yeah, we call in the ward. To, you know, most people would think that as a psychiatric unit, of course. But to me, call the ward could be the warden. It could be your mother. It could be a caregiver. It could be anybody, to me, in like an authority type figure. So when I say call the ward, I'm thinking calling yourself, your higher self, your, you know, elevated self, and you get stuck in a place and you feel like you can't get out of it, or you feel like, let's try tomorrow. I know it's Monday, right? It's Monday. Maybe Tuesday will be better. So let's Antonio, let's wait for tomorrow. But I would have to take a step back, right? And tell myself tomorrow isn't promised. So we need to take advantage of today and get out here and grind. Might not want to get up, but the Lord allowed me to wake up and see this day. Let's get up and let's get to it, right? Um,
Let's keep it
so
rolling.
calling
Right.
the war. Let me hop on this first question for you real quick, ma'am. Now, remember I told you, I don't reveal my questions. I just throw them at you. So let's get into it. So now,
Okay.
what is
Let's
a
roll.
psych patient? What is a psych patient?
Mm. Now that is going to be a broad spectrum answer because realistically we all are.
Yes, we do.
Because we all need some form of
Yep.
therapy. So let's be real. However, what is a psych patient versus what is the criteria to have you admitted to a psych unit are two totally different things. So when we think about psychiatric diagnosis, that can be something as simple, and I don't want to say it's simple, but anxiety and depression, all the way to your schizophrenics, your multiple personality disorders, dissociative identities. What it is trauma that we haven't addressed appropriately.
Yes, I agree.
And so that is
okay. Now,
your psych patient.
For those that feel like, like let's take a day you go in the grocery store, right? And somebody just wilding out, like going crazy over, somebody hopping in front of them in line. And they just, why you hopping in front of me? And it's like, we look at it as, oh, they crazy. Like something wrong with them. Like they need to be what people say, medicated. To me, now I work with children, but to me, I feel as if, I tell my kids all the time, treat everyone the way that you would love to be treated, because you never know what's going through somebody's head, and you never know what they have experienced in life. So maybe that person hopping in front of them could have been a trigger and it just set them off. Like they could be bipolar and you never even know, and you looking at them from the outside looking in, oh, they crazy. Inside looking out, I have bipolar. I'm schizophrenic. And I experienced these things in my past, which led up to where I'm at today in life. But yeah, you don't know that because you can't really see what I've experienced. So you're looking at me as like, oh, you crazy. Somebody call the police because they about to turn up in here. No. Oh, you got one too? You got a dog too?
Listen, I got a child right now that's a little out of pocket. Give me 1 second.
Look, good people, it happens, okay? It happens, because I got mine, she over there doing something, but, hopefully she'll make no noise.
Listen, you gotta love them. You do, but, I gave her life. But again, when we talk about stressors and not knowing what our day is full of, when that person wilding out in the grocery store or just in general, you don't know what preceded that event. They could just have social anxiety, and you hopping in front of them, push them back, and made them have to be in the store that much longer.
And I did that.
We're so quick to jump to a diagnosis or say somebody's crazy, but like my real question to you is, what's normal? You know what I mean? Like tell me what normal is, and then we can address crazy.
Be real with you. Like a lot of people say, oh no, I'm normal. And now what do I say? I say it a lot. I'm regular. I say I'm regular. There's nothing regular about me. My mindset is different than yours. So when I tell people all the time, oh, I get up at 4 a.m. to get ready to go to the gym. You crazy. No, I'm just built different. I'm built different than you are. You get up at 8, 9 o'clock in the morning. So by the time you wake up, I've done 8 things that you wanted to do that day already. So I don't want to be placed in a box. But like you said, it's a stressor, it's a trigger. Anything that leads up to that event, But like I said, that's the outside looking in. And we don't take the time to really
Right.
focus on those things like, I wonder what happened before they acted. I wonder what happened before they had this outburst. But it's like we as a society just jump to conclusions, especially with social media. We jump to conclusions and make
Well, yeah,
assumptions of certain things.
most definitely.
That's why I don't watch the news. To be
Most
honest, I do
definitely.
not watch the news.
I don't either. Plus, I don't feel like the
No,
media shows us what they want to
show
show
you
us. They pull
exactly
their
what you
bits and
need to
pieces.
see.
So for me, yeah, like I'm good on that. And I live in the real world. Like I
Yeah.
get to see things that most don't see on a regular basis, and I have to deal and cope with that. So coming home to watch things like the news
So,
to me
I'm
is
gonna get
traumatic.
off topic, okay? This ain't one of the questions, but this is a question. What is it like on the inside? Tell us what it's like on the inside. We want to know.
Okay, for the patient or for
Well,
the
you're the
nurse?
nurse. So tell me what it's like as a
Right.
nurse on it.
Um, and then I was gonna say I can only speculate as a patient, but for the nurse, to be
Mm,
honest with you,
wait
it's like
a
going to
minute.
jail. Um,
Okay.
and so the reality is, yeah, let's keep it a buck. And when we
Okay.
go into there,
True.
we're in a locked space. So unless you have a key, you can't get out, you
Yeah.
can't move, you have to badge in and badge out.
Yeah.
And it's run like clockwork. So you get in there and you do your shift report. They do breakfast, they do meds, you do morning group session, then they get to have lunch. And, it's everything is run really regimented. And they have treatment. The doctor comes at this time. Um, and so as the nurse, it is like you have to learn how to
Mm-hmm.
compartmentalize and organize your day, as well as for me, because of just the person that I am, I take time to purposely make sure I get
Okay.
one-on-one time with each person on that unit. So I'm going to tap in with you when I hit in the morning. If 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock, I'm getting in there. They awake. Hey, how you doing today? How did you sleep? Let's talk about it, because that sets the tone for the day. You could go in there. You could say absolutely nothing to them, and you could do your
Yeah.
hour shift because that's what you're required to do. However, it's going to give you a rougher
Listen.
day.
Listen. Let me tone it down. Okay. Actually, I'm gonna get on your level. I used to be a CO. I'll talk about it. Being inside that prison
Okay.
was walking into, I don't know what hell is like, and I never want to know what that's like. But walking in there, your soul says, "I'll see you in 12 hours. I'm away on the outside."
Mm-hmm.
But your physical goes in there, and you cannot leave because this is what I signed up to do. So me being a correctional officer working inside a prison, that entire prison is a psych ward. I don't care what they say about
Yep.
you got certain units as a psych ward, the entire prison was a psych ward. So you're constantly looking over your shoulder, watching your fellow man, your fellow officer, making sure that we all can go home at night or in the morning. And it's like, yo, lie to you
Right.
not. I had one guy, one night. I was they called me a floater officer. So I would go wherever they needed me. I went to the site ward one night. I get there,
Mm-hmm.
they say, right, we need you over here. Old buddy ain't taking his medication. So we about to handcuff him, and the nurse going, tube it. Okay, that's no problem. 'Cause I feel like it's gonna be easy, right? We get over there. He looked me straight in my face. They was like, right, we need you in front. For what? Why? This not my unit. I'm helping. I'm assisting. So put me in the back. They said, no, we need you in front. You the biggest. Okay. How much does he weigh? About 100 pounds. My guy. You don't need me in the front. Put me in the front anyway. Whatever. I do my job. They open the door, click, clap. I'm gonna tell y'all right now, this is what he said to me. Any one of y'all coming here, I'm gonna throw this whole cup of piss on y'all. Now, little did they know, or little did they tell me, He had AIDS, HIV, hepatitis, every disease in the book. But you wanted me on the front line like we about to go to war? I said, listen, let me go ahead, clock out, and go home. Get somebody else to do it. Because I'm not with this. He literally had a cup of piss and was ready to toss it. I gotta go home.
Yeah, we have patients that eat their poop, throw piss, throw
He said,
feces, um,
you said
spit
they eat
spit
what?
dead in your face. They can eat their feces,
I've seen
so
it.
their poop.
I have
Yeah,
seen it. Yep,
that's
I have
that's
seen
not
that. So
abnormal.
I understand.
Um, and them
Yeah.
100-pound patients are the strongest ones. They will do spidey senses and crawl
Stop
up a wall to
playing.
get away from stuff. It's like, where did you get the strength from, sir? Like,
Yo,
I'm not a little girl.
yo, oh
I'm a
man.
big body Benz over here,
Look,
okay? But you're
I'm
not gonna
telling
take me
you.
out
And
like that. Wait a minute.
I dead ass, I went home. Like, no lie. I told them, I said, it was like, well, you don't do this, you get written up. I take that one for the team. I take that one for the team. Hey, thank you.
But at least you know, right? They come into jail and
Thank
y'all
you.
are aware. Guess what? They come
Thank
into the
you.
psych
I was
unit
a
and we
floater.
don't know. We have no
Yeah.
clue. We have no clue what they
Yeah.
have. So that is my everyday, especially because I work in
Ooh,
admissions.
yeah.
So I get them when they're the most manic, when we have no clue what they have. And then if they're in, and this is the
Yeah.
thing that was really big during COVID, was that they can't tell you where they've been, who they've been
That is
around, and
true.
have they been sick. They're not in that mental capacity to be able to recollect any of that. So when we have these conversations, it's
Yeah.
like everyone has to be COVID tested. And it's like, so
Yeah.
here we are, and we're in this space, and we're trying to get you
True.
better while
True.
protecting ourselves,
Yeah.
while nurturing your mind.
And it's like, yo, I'm just here to do my job. It's like, you know, when you go get an oil change, I'm just here to get an oil change. Oh, but maybe you need to get tires and you should get this flush. I'm just here to get an oil change, my guy. That's it. Nothing else. I'm here to do my job. But it takes on a whole toll of other things when you walk inside that facility. So now, my next question, man. I know we got off the topic a little bit, but now my next question. Would you say that we all have something going on inside this mental that needs to be addressed daily or every so often? Daily. And what?
Daily.
Okay.
Every day, I feel like you need to do something for your mental health. Now, does that mean you need to see a therapist every day? No. What it means is you need to find what works for you. So, what
Mm-hmm.
form of decompression is best? So, for me, one of the big things I'm a yoga
Mm-hmm.
meditator, kind of a Zen kind of person, but I also leave work blasting the radio. That's
Listen,
how I leave work at work. Because I get in my car.
and let me tell you something. I ain't cutting you off, but let me tell you something, right? Clinician to clinician, right? Big Gates be on 8,000 when I
Okay.
listen. Big Gates be on 8,000. They be like, "Who is that?" Oh, that's Mr. Wright. I'm Mr. Wright when I step outside the car. When I'm in the car, I'm Tonio. Okay.
Period.
Don't say nothing to me until I
Period.
step outside
Period.
that vehicle.
Listen. And I'm telling you, you want to look at me and be like, oh, she over there listening to Sade. No, I'm listening to the City Girls. Don't
Thank you.
mind
Like,
the
don't get me
business that
wrong.
pays you, okay?
Don't get me
I'm
wrong.
out here. I gotta turn up.
I'm gonna
I
sit
like
here.
Sade.
I'm
That
gonna
ain't
sit
what I'm listening
here
to when I'm
and I'm gonna
coming to
have
you.
my Eric Thomas and my the Wright Mentality motivation and my Les Brown quotes for you, and I'm gonna have them ready. But when I'm in that car and the windows rolled up and the tint is on dark, don't talk to me unless you talking.
Listen.
Listen.
Okay.
Hey.
I'm turned. I'm in the car. I'm in the club, and I love reggae too. So like, you always gonna hear some reggae pumping in the car, and
You have to.
that's how I decompress. And I tell people 30 minutes. Like, I'm one of them people that sit in my car for 30 minutes before I get out.
Yep.
Because when I say I gotta leave work at work, I really do, because I come home and I have to handle home, and
Listen,
those two
that
can't be
is
touched.
so dynamic because I feel like a lot of people get those things misconstrued when it comes to work and home combined. You cannot bring work home. I don't care what type of profession you have. I don't care what type of job that you have. I don't care if you work at McDonald's. You deal with people. Don't bring that home, please. Don't bring none of that home. Because for
Right.
me, ain't nobody here but my dog. But I don't want to bring all of that.
Your dog
Thank
don't deserve
you.
it. Your
Thank
dog don't
you.
deserve it. And
Exactly.
energy is transferable. Like, I don't
It
care
don't matter
what it
who it
is.
is.
Energy is
Yep.
transferable. I'm not gonna do it. And you can just imagine some of the days I have when people are admissions, and most of the facilities that I'm at, because I'm travel
Yep.
nursing right now, are state facilities. So that means I'm getting your inmates, so your forensics, as we call them. So I have your inmates, I have your people off the street that just wanted to walk in, and then I have your referrals from your therapist, because they like, their patients came in the office and they was wilding out. They need to come on
It's
in
those
there.
days that we have to it's,
We open 24/7. There's no scheduled appointment. These people don't come at 11,
yeah.
12, 1. No, I have 3 people that'll come at 11:01, 11:02, 11:03, and I gotta get them all in there. You see what I'm saying? Like, there's no organization. One day I'm gonna have nobody on the psych unit,
Yo,
another day I'm gonna have
that
12.
and that
That is
like that
that.
takes a toll. And it's honestly, I think a week or two ago I had to do that for myself because I
Mm-hmm.
brought work with me and I was trying not to. So one of my kids had something drastic happen and I thought it was my fault. So I brought it with me. And I was like, "Nah, we gotta let it go. You gotta let it go." I didn't
Mm-hmm.
release it until the next day because it was like it weighed so heavy on me that I
Was
was
that
like,
heavy?
maybe I could have did something a little bit better. Maybe I could have worked a little bit harder to help you. But at the end of the day, a person gonna do what a person gonna do, and you can't stop them. You can't change them. I always tell people, one thing that you can never do is stop somebody from doing what they're going to already do. The only thing that you can do is postpone them. So if a person comes to me and tells me, "Oh, Mr. Wright, my girl about to cheat on me. I found it in her phone. She's gonna meet up with old buddy tomorrow, but I'm gonna stop her." Good luck. You may be able to stop that person for that
Right.
moment or that time, but they're always going to find another way around it. So that time that they said that they was going to do this, that, and the third, you can postpone them temporarily. But tomorrow is a new day. We can start over. So saying that, um, let's see how I can word this one for you. Most people, right? Most people, when they hear psych, ward, clinic, unit, hospital, all of that stuff, they think of the crazy house. We call this the crazy house.
Yeah.
How can we change the way we look at this? How can we change the way we look at the dynamic of this facility that people go to?
It's hard to answer that, because a lot of that has to do
Sure.
with changing the system as a whole. Uh, the reality is your income, your insurance, all of that will change the type of experience you have on a psych unit.
So
So let's say I go to a
they
private
got
psych unit, right? And
private.
it looked like a bed and breakfast.
Okay.
Yes, they have private, and then there's private, public,
Okay.
and then there's state owned.
What's the difference between all three of those?
So you have your private ones, which are the
So
ones that
that's
we're
like
going to spend a
the
whole lot of money
Marriott and the
on. It's like
Hyatt.
college
So
tuition
the
and then
Marriott
some.
and the Hyatt.
That's your
Okay,
upper
bet.
echelons. Yes,
Mm-hmm.
yes, yes. And then you're going to have your public ones, which anyone with insurance, um, who maybe can't pay the deductible or just have insurance and don't want to have an out of pocket expense,
Okay,
or
Holiday Inn. That's a
can go
bet.
to.
All right. Mm-hmm.
Right. And then you got
Oh,
your Motel
Peruvian.
6, I guess.
Okay.
Your
All
Super
right.
8s kind of situation, yeah. Maybe a little worse than that. And those are gonna be your state facilities. And those are the ones where no income, Medicaid,
Wow.
go
So
to.
yeah.
Those are there. It's a total different experience from the food that you eat, from the type of therapeutic services that you get and how often and how much, as well as to what your liberties and freedom are, to even as simple as something as what the
Wow.
grounds look like. You know what I mean? So the reality is, they have more money, so then they can invest more money into making sure that the place is beautiful. They can make sure that they're paying their staff members an appropriate salary so that they actually want to come to work and do things this.
Fair enough.
Sorry.
Fair enough. I get that because I tell you what, I look at it like this. Target and Walmart. You go to Target, you gonna get proper service. The bathroom's gonna be clean. You're gonna find everything that you need.
Okay.
Walmart, you just got to get in and get out and hope you don't get shot. You know. Uh,
Winging it. Yeah. Yeah. It's definitely that. And also to be honest with you, so when you say like how can we change the look of that, the reality is that is the truth. I don't want to lie and say that you're going to walk through these doors and you're going to get service at your door. Like, here's your sheets and
yeah.
everything's going to be okay. No, we're here stabilizing you. We're here getting you right and we're going to set you on a plan. But it's up to you to do what you need to do.
Yeah.
And that's really anywhere, this part. It's up to you to do the things that you have to do so that you can get better. It is definitely what you put into it. But at the same time, when you have, I tell people all the time, like on our unit, dinner served at 5 o'clock, but your louse around the are at 8. Well, psych meds make you hungry. When was the last time you went to bed hungry and you actually slept well?
That makes sense.
But I'm not giving you
Yeah.
another meal after 5. So you eat between 7 a.m. and 5. And then we'll give you like a snack. But a snack could be graham crackers and some milk. It's
Yeah.
not an elaborate dessert. So where you go to these upper echelons, your Marriotts and your Targets of the psych facilities, and you have a kitchen you can walk into and get whatever you want because there's a private chef.
Wow.
So I want you to be therapeutic. Well, let's be real. If a person is manic, the first thing
Yeah.
that they
True.
need is rest. But if you're starving, how am I going to get you to rest?
But I don't think a lot of people think about those things. It's like, especially you take the people that say they stressed out, or the people that feel like they having a panic attack, and they walk into these facilities thinking like, okay, I'm about to go in here, I'm about to get all the help that I need or all the help that I want. Meanwhile, you're walking into a walk-in not knowing what to expect, but yet you get the bare minimum. So why is it takes a person having PTSD, a person having schizophrenia, or bipolarism to get those top tier services versus somebody that is stressed out, depressed, or
we don't have beds for you.
okay.
Like, that's the reality of it. There's no room for a person that is stressed out, anxious, unless you're anxious and you're catatonic, or you're anxious and you're turning manic. So we're only taking people who are at the end of the rope because there's just not enough beds. So what you do when someone is feeling overwhelmed, they can walk into the emergency room, tell the emergency room clinician what's going on. They'll take them to what they call a purple pod, which is usually the psych pod. The psych pod, you'll be evaluated, and they'll decide, whoever you talk to, that clinician is a determining factor on whether they're going to go on a bed hunt for you or they're going to send you back home. But if you're just a little anxious and you're sad, you're not going to go there. You're not going to get in unless you're suicidal. And when I say suicidal, that doesn't necessarily mean like, oh, I just think I might want to kill myself. It means, no, I have an active plan.
Listen,
because there's so many people with mental health
It's
issues. There's no,
oof,
it's not enough of us. There's
talk
not
about
enough people that want to be there to help. Um, this job, although people will be like, "Oh, you get paid a lot," I don't get paid half of what I do. I risk my life every single day that I step floor. You ever walk into your job not know what you was gonna get? I walk into my job, and as soon as I get in there, I could be
yeah.
arms flying at my head. Like the second I turn that key, I know
Yes.
I might have
And
to duck.
see, for you walking inside the facility is for me waking up the next morning, looking at my phone, having 8 missed calls, 14 text messages,
9 million
talking
calls,
about Mr.
right?
Wright, I need you at 12 o'clock in the morning. What can I do for you? I was asleep. I was asleep. I was trying to prepare myself for you the next day. And it's like you walk into these new days that you're blessed to get, not knowing what to expect. If a person ever come to me and tell me, "Oh man, I know you out here balling," what you talking about? Where? "Oh, I know y'all making money and you a black man too. I know you killing it." Yeah,
That's what
let me holler
they
at you real
say. You
quick.
have no
Ain't,
clue.
ain't no money out here. And
You
not
have
not
no
in
idea.
not in this field,
Right.
unless you got a private practice, you got about 8,000 clients, or you got top tier clients. That's the only way. Thank
I'm about
you.
to say you got to have cash pay
Exactly.
clients in
So
order to be top
don't.
tier.
I'm
That's
not doing
that's the only
this.
way that'll
I mean,
work.
of course, I got bills to pay, of course, but I'm not. I'm not doing it for
But you're
that.
not
I'm doing
doing
it
it for the
because, for
dollar.
one, I'm working with kids, which is a lot. Because don't nobody really want to work with kids. This
Go you.
It's a passion. It truly is a passion, because a lot of people in this field, especially working with teenagers, don't want to work with teenagers because of, one, the society and the generation that we are in today, um, and really focusing and looking at what they have experienced and the things that they are actually going through trying to become adults. People don't understand children, not just teenagers, not just adolescents, children, until you hit 18 and over, get ample opportunities to live this life that they live. You get in trouble, that's a slap on the wrist. You get in trouble, that's a slap on the. I don't know how many times you can get a slap on the wrist as a teenager, because my mama
If you have a
would have
diagnosis.
choked the life out of me and snatched the diagnosis out of me and said, "Go to school and I'll see you when you get home." But today,
Mm. A lot of times now, the parents are the
stop,
trauma, and the parents
stop
are.
it,
That's
stop
one reason
it.
why I had to
You
get out
about
of
to, you
Peds. You know what I'm
stepping
saying?
on
Like,
toes, ma'am. Cut it out.
sorry.
Parents, yes.
I've seen. Unfortunately, I have seen a father come to the psych unit because with Peds,
Okay.
they have more visitation hours. Come and literally groom his child, like walk her around and then groom her because we can't prove the things that he's done to her. And when you can't prove it, you just have to watch. Like you can't tell him he can't come for visitation, and
Yo,
you watch him groom
that's
her, and you have to
pain.
hold your
That's
composure
pain.
because you can't go to
I
jail.
mean,
But
and that's
but he's the reason
that's
she's
the
there.
that's
He's the
the
reason she's
painful
there.
part about being a clinician in this field, especially when you see kids that experience that. When you have a parent like me, I go to their houses. So going to their house and sitting there and hearing the way that they talk to their children, and it's like some of them, not even sometimes it's the way the kids talk to the parents. Be
But where they get it from?
damn. If my child talked to me the way these, let me hold your phone. For what? I said, give me your phone. What you need my phone for? Okay. Um, we can do this
One more time.
voluntarily or involuntarily. The choice is yours. But either way, you're going to give me that. And it's like, yo, why are you going through a debate with your child? Why is your child going through a debate with you? It starts with you. If you treat them like a friend, if you treat them and, like, let's say they got ADHD or whatever type of diagnosis that they do have, let's not negate that part, right?
Mm-hmm.
But let's try to educate ourselves as parents and adults on what is happening and
Boundaries.
create an atmosphere so that you know, one, I'm not one to play with. Two, I'm not your friend. I can love you like a friend. I can be here for you like a friend, but at the end of the day, I'm your mother, I'm your father. Treat me as such. Don't treat me the way you treat your friends at school, because all of this can be respected.
Well, we also have to talk about the huge difference between
That's true.
behavioral
That is true.
diagnosis and psych diagnosis. And so a
Yeah.
lot of people try to mush them all together and act like it's one. But no. There's a lot of diagnoses that all fall under behavioral.
Yeah.
There is no med, there
Yeah.
is no pill that is going to fix a behavioral diagnosis.
Yep.
That means strict boundaries.
Yeah.
Well, strict boundaries means the enforcer
Yes.
has to enforce. And if you choose not to enforce,
Yep.
it's going to continue to
Yeah.
grow. And there's
They
nothing
become
anyone's going to be able to
neighbors.
do about it. Because then you're going to
Yeah.
have an adult that's narcissistic and borderline personality disorder. And those are the ones that are going to like ram their head
Yep.
through
A
glass
lot of
just because
kids
they
that I
want to
deal with today have conduct
seen it.
disorders. To me, that's a behavioral issue. That, to me, is not a diagnosis. Yeah.
Wholeheartedly is. And because they
Yep.
don't know what to title it or what to
Conduct.
put on it,
Like,
they're
that
going to
to
call it
me,
that.
and
Right. And conduct will
exactly.
eventually
And
be
like,
borderline
when I
personality.
go through these things with people, what does that mean? Nobody explained it to you. No, what does conduct mean? Well, I mean, in layman terms, the way that I can give it to you is bad behavior or poor behavior. That's all I can. Oh, so you say I'm a bad kid? I didn't say that. What I said is the diagnosis that they have given you is poor behavior. And
Right.
exactly.
It's
And
like
it's
your
like,
ODDs.
stop putting random stuff on these kids and people just to get them out the door.
But people don't realize how
Yeah,
far that stuff travels
for
with
real.
you too. It's going
Yeah.
to affect your careers down the line, especially like a lot of parents out here. And I'm not going to say that there are those intentionally doing things to get a potential check, but they don't realize how they are affecting their children in the long run. And when you get these diagnoses outside of
Yeah.
ADHD, because ADHD is so known and so accepted, when you get anything outside of that to go along with it, you start pulling in money
Yeah.
and checks, you stop your children's career. They're not going to go into the military. They're not going to be able to go into any merchant marine, merchant seaman, any. It's a lot of fields, police officers. There's a
And
lot of things that
they
they
don't
can't do.
see that. They
Or
don't
if
even see
they do get there, they're
that. Like,
super
they not looking at the
supervised. Yeah.
long-term effect. They have, when I used to be a detention officer at a juvenile facility, a lot of the parents would postpone getting the child released so they could keep getting those checks. You're not realizing what you're doing to this child. One, you're keeping them in a secluded area just so you can get a check every month.
Yeah.
On top of that, too, like you just said, this, honestly, I didn't even know that it affects you in the long run, and it prohibits you from doing a lot of things, because that is very true. When you go to any professional like police officer, firefighter, EMS, you take a psychological exam,
Yeah.
and
When they
they
run them
pull your
background checks.
records,
Yeah.
and they see, oh, you had ADHD. I don't think he's gonna be able to do this. No. My mama did that. My daddy did that when I was younger. Well, I'm sorry. We
The
can't let you work
diagnosis is
here
there.
because you're a liability to us.
Right. The diagnosis is there. And once it's there, it's not something you can remove off your record. And so, as we talk about the right mentality, that mentality that they have now got from their parents is they're going to be their lifestyle. So, okay, my mom got a check for me while I was a child. Cool, I can get a check while I'm an adult. But then that check is not going to help you survive through this life. This check might be able to get you, a couple pair
Exactly.
of t-shirts and maybe a meal or two. So then now, what are the things that you're doing to be able to get a job, because in order to have disability, you can only work so much. There's levels to this. And so when we're just talking about all of these things, we have to realize that a lot of times that, again, the trauma comes from within the household. And so behavioral disorders are taught. Okay. You have your children that, and I'm not saying that there aren't hyperactive children, but I know a lot of hyperactive children that are still not bad behaved children. And we have to learn to separate the difference between the two. You know, it's different than saying, oh, you have a sociopath, because that's a diagnosis that children get often. I'm trying not to say certain diagnoses that they don't give children very often, because just for y'all to know, like, there are certain things like you're not going to see a lot of children schizophrenics. Are they there? Most definitely, but they try to wait until they're older to give that. So what has happened is many years ago, some beige people decided that during a certain age you could be diagnosed with something, and it only happens during this time period. Most people's first breakdown, they say, is around the age 23. So anything that happens before 23, they're usually afraid to put a diagnosis on it. And so with that being said, it's always hard with people who are working in peds, because they're not going to get a real diagnosis.
That's so true. Like, I would go back to one of my previous jobs that I had, and I had a child that he was diagnosed with ADHD. And the mom was really concerned that, you know, maybe he was bipolar or schizophrenic. And I'm still in school, so I'm trying to understand this. So I, reached out to my supervisor, and he was like, children can't be diagnosed with bipolarism under the age of 12. I said, what? He said, yes, children cannot be diagnosed with bipolarism or schizophrenia under the age of 12. So trying to understand that and trying to put two and two together, how do you give that to a parent that is, genuinely concerned
for help,
to understand, like, well, why do they act like this? Why do they have outbursts randomly? Why do they just act out for no reason? Why are they punching holes in the wall? That doesn't seem like ADHD. Well, ma'am, all I can tell you, well, maybe are they manic? Yep, you gotta wait till they 15 to figure that out, because we put it on the scale, and it's like, yo.
And those conversations are so awkward, because the only thing that you can say is that there's a possibility that is true, but I can't treat your child with such because I can't diagnose, which means I can't provide you with your potential choices. I can just ask you to live with it. Yes, your child punched 5 holes in your wall.
Pretty much. Is it a way that?
But it's the same thing with your adult children, because even though they get the diagnosis, what I've realized, especially where I'm in Georgia right now, and where I'm working, I'm in Georgia, and what I've noticed is a lot of parents are like, they can't come back home. So you want to know why there's no beds? Because the parents say you can't come back home. Where they gonna go? Well, a person that punches holes in walls, they're not going to a group home. I can't place them anywhere. So then they go into a long-term psych unit. Because our alternatives when people are at such a deficit is to send them to a retirement home. Well, I can't put a 27-year-old who's possibly decides to go in and out of manic moments in the same home with 80-year-olds.
And that is the part where people get misdiagnosed or people get misplaced in the system, and you try to understand, like we said, this follows you for the rest of your life, and you don't realize it because you trying to get a new car, or you trying to get that new sofa in your house, or you want that 80-inch screen TV. Like, stop doing that. Not just for children, but adults, because adults do it to their parents, to their grandparents, just to get a check. And I look at that the same way people look at tax refunds. You get that once a year, my boy or my girl. You looking for that you waiting for January, February to get here for
$300.
Listen, it's so insane, and you live for those moments.
Because disability ain't given.
But you
You
know
know
what's
what I'm
crazy
saying?
though?
Like,
All you got to do is walk in there and say, "Hey, I'm about to kill myself. I put the rope up in my house. I tied it. I
oh,
tied it
that's a
up.
TDO.
Uh, I was gonna take some pills beforehand. Like you got a plan." So he's serious. He for real. Let's go ahead and get him. Let's diagnose him with this. Like, yo, how do you know I really did this? How do you know I really got this going?
Yep. That also gets people
Oh,
out of
believe
prison
I
too.
know, I know.
And so then you get to come spend the rest of your
Yeah,
days
yeah.
over on the psych unit with me. And so a lot of people do that. And then that also gets you a one-to-one
That's
nurse.
how. You know what? I ain't about to go there. Yeah.
But that's a lot of, yeah. I ain't going to tap into that because I don't want nobody to use it against us. But what I am going to say is, when we talk about reform and how to get things right, the reality is the reason why there's
Yeah.
not enough beds is because those that know how to take
Yeah.
advantage of it take advantage of it, right? Um, and don't get it twisted. I have nothing against our homeless community.
Yeah.
Actually, that's a soft place in my heart. However, on a very rainy day, I'm gonna tell you now. Everybody that works on a psych unit knows that on holidays and when it's been raining a whole lot, we're gonna get a whole lot of homeless people coming to the psych unit, and all they have to do is say I'm suicidal, the same way that they just said that, right? And they're gonna get they're going to get a
Yeah.
roof over their head. They're going to get somewhere to store their stuff. You
That's
get
crazy.
3 meals in a bed. It's
And
in a
it's
shower. You
sad
know what
that
I
you got to
mean?
go
Like
that deep
it's
just to.
what I'm sad that we
True.
don't have homelessness prevention prepared. But I'm sad that
Yep.
it's taking away beds from people that actually need it. There are a lot of people out here that have mental health issues that if you could actually get them stabilized, they could live a
Very, very
very
true.
fulfilling life. And I tell people all the time, psych knows no boundaries, not racial, not
Yeah.
economic. There are no boundaries. Not, you know what I mean? Any community I have seen on my unit.
Wow. Look, open my eyes all the way because a lot of that I didn't know. A lot of that was, somewhat relative, but some of that was very new to me. So, just dealing with all of that and like I said, we
Look, when's
look,
your next
what
therapy
you talking
appointment?
about?
Because it's
Because
real.
when I tell you, it
Mine's on the 16th.
is the days that come to me where it's some days that I be like, yo, I can't do this no more. Because you're not just going into this thinking, okay, I'm gonna go see Johnny, Tabitha, Karen, Josh today, right? And I'm gonna be, we're gonna talk
Right.
about a lot, we're gonna do this. And right before you about done, Josh tell you, well, I tried to kill myself last night.
Changes the whole narrative of the day.
Well, buddy,
It's going to be a little longer.
yeah, thanks.
Not leaving right now.
It's
Got some paperwork,
it's like,
friend.
yo, it was going so good. But you don't realize just because I'm a therapist, I'm a clinician, I'm a doctor, or whatever, we have days that we need them. Like, I lie to you not. My decompression, when I get in this house, I will cut instrumental piano music on, lay on the
Yeah.
floor, face first, and just inhale and exhale. Because I've released the people from the day. I need to release the emotions from the day because I'm taking on, I tried to kill myself. My mama don't like me. I fought my sister. I'm depressed. I'm sad. I was happy. It's like I got all of this, and it's just boom. Antonio, how do you feel today? I don't know. I got everybody else.
Bro,
Everybody else going on.
I'm just existing. Yeah. That's that and that's the one thing that I talk to people about. Like and that's
Yeah.
the reason why I travel is because I do have to take time off and get away from it for a second because especially with working where I work, when you walk into that space, I've been niggas, I've been somebody grandma that they thought used to beat the crap out of them. So every time they
Yep.
saw me, they was swinging at my head. I go into a space where you know what I'm saying, you've been like every trauma that you may have, I promise you, a psych patient will pull it up out of you. And if
Yeah.
you don't deal with your
Yeah.
ish before you walk in there, you're gonna be triggered. And guess what? You picking up a medical record number because they
Yep.
will find whatever
Yo,
it is on purpose. Okay, some of them are fully on purpose,
listen.
and some of them can just read energy. And we're gonna act like that's not a thing, but
Yep.
it is. Some of them can just read your energy, and that little thing that's insecure, they gon' do do.
That
And as
listen.
soon as they see your eye flutter,
Yo,
they
and the
gonna
thing
dig
that
it, dig it,
bothers
dig it,
me,
dig it, dig.
that it really bothers me. My facial expressions say a lot without saying nothing. So people look at me like you could be talking to me, I could look at you just like this. Like I'm fully engaged with you. I'm listening to you. My face is just like, and you would look like, what's wrong? Nothing. But your face, like you look like you upset about. No, stop. And I tell people, don't read my face, okay? Don't read my face because you're gonna get a misperception of something that I'm not
You
giving
got
you.
RBF.
And it's like, yo, like,
I actually sit in the mirror on
really?
a regular basis and
No.
work on my faces. Yes, because when I first used to get there, it was always my eyes. Because they always told us
Yeah.
in nursing school you got to have a beige face, but my eyes would be like y'all just hear this, like. So now I have worked it to where I'm just what I've also learned to do is just pinch the palm of my hand, and so they won't notice that, but I'll
Yo,
be like,
I tell
oh,
you, I tell you what I do. So if I'm in a session and somebody tells me something or it's just something gruesome, um, I'll just be like, I'll raise my eyebrows without raising my eyes. So and it's like they
mm-hmm.
don't notice what I'm really doing. And I never really noticed it. I did it before I started doing therapy, but I would just typically like, it's like I'm like doing this, and it's like they don't notice what I'm doing.
Right.
Yeah, it's,
A little
it's
twitch,
like,
little twitch.
yo,
Right.
you just told me something. Okay, all right, let me take this. But woosah, just take it one day at a time. Now,
Right.
Kristin, we done said a
Yeah.
lot, we done talked a lot, right?
Yes, sir.
To these people out here
Yeah.
that's listening, watching, taking it all in, give them 2 pieces of advice that they could take on a daily basis from here on out.
My first piece of advice is to learn yourself and love yourself. Okay. Just be apologetically you. And when I say that, I'm saying that because people, you teach people how to treat you, right? And so if you know your triggers and you know your traumas, you can teach people how to treat you way better than if you don't know them. On the second hand to that, I'm going to
Mm.
ask you to stop judging others because you don't know their story, you don't know their history. You know, I tell people all the time, you'll look at Kristin and you'll be like, oh my gosh, she's this well put together person. You have no idea that I've had cancer twice. You have no idea that I was adopted. You have no idea I got daddy issues, right? I go to
Really?
therapy for all this crap because I'm a person. I'm a
Now,
divorced mother of 4 beautiful
don't
children.
don't give them everything yet.
Mhm. And I don't
Okay.
mind giving it to them because
Okay.
I know me. You know what I'm saying? You can have it all because there's nothing you can say
Mm.
about Kristin that I haven't said about myself. And I work on myself
Ooh,
so
talk
much that it don't
about
matter,
it.
baby. I
Talk
love
about
me.
it.
And so what I want you to know is that why I do all that I do is because I've lived it, I've walked it, and I
Yeah.
know how to heal from it. Now I haven't necessarily been a psych patient, but
Yeah.
I done seen my fair share of sofas. And I'm telling you, like, these are the things you have to learn to love yourself. And your therapist will get you
Definitely.
there.
Listen.
Personal opinion.
Listen. Personally, I'm glad you're still here. I'm glad we still got this, we got this
Thank
conversation
you.
going. And look, like you just
Me
said,
too.
stop judging other people. Like, look at yourself first before you say something about somebody else because, like I said, on the outside looking in, you don't know what that person has gone through or is going through. So before
Right.
Antonio could say something about this guy or this lady over here, or I'm sorry, but in this society, whatever you would like to call yourself, um, let's look here. Let's
Right.
look on the inside before,
First.
because we take not just every day, but we take ourselves sometimes for granted, not knowing that, okay, I'm not perfect, because for one, I knew where I grew up. I know what I had to experience as a kid. I know I had stuff happen to me as a child, and that brought me to where I'm at here today in life, which is why I have a strong passion for working with kids. So, good people, look at
Right.
yourself before you look at somebody else.
I think.
Was that bars? Stop it? Wait a minute. Call Jay-Z
Period.
real quick.
Bars.
Call. No,
Mm.
wait.
You need a deal. You want me to get you a deal?
Listen,
I
Kristin.
got you. Mm.
Kristin, I
We're gonna go
appreciate you. I
independent though.
appreciate you. I appreciate you for coming on here,
You're
giving this
welcome.
knowledge, this wisdom to the people today, to
Thank
me
you.
today. You know, it's past my bedtime. It's past my
Thank
bedtime,
you.
but you know, I had, whew,
Yeah, you
girl,
got about
listen,
4
I'm
minutes
supposed
for
to be
me.
asleep at 6. But you know, look, Grandpa, I get up. I get up before everybody.
Well,
All
good night.
right, but look,
I
like I
know.
said,
I'm right
I
there in that hour
appreciate you
with
for
you though.
coming
So
on
I
here
feel you.
today. I appreciate you for talking and giving this knowledge. Now, where can these people reach you at? Where can they talk to you? Where can they holler at you at?
All right. Well, you can always go to peace.iamlight here on Instagram. So that's the at sign and then peace.iamlight. Also, you can go to holisticluxwellness.com. Check me out there. You can Google
She
Wellness
everywhere.
Bay K. I'm
She
around. You
everywhere.
know what
That's
I mean?
how I
Y'all
found her.
check
You
me
know,
out.
I found her on
Yeah,
Twitter
I'm
though.
out here.
You know, but hey, look,
And I barely tweet.
I found you. That's all that matters. That's all that matters. Hey, so good people.
Period.
Kristin, thank you yet again. Good people.
Yeah.
Oh, you welcome.
Thank you so
Always
much.
remember, keep the right mentality.